We begin on this Friday morning, though, with all the developments from several campaign trails all across the country, with midterm elections now just 4 days away.
There are a lot of campaign trails right now. President Biden was out west yesterday making stops in New Mexico and California, where he forcefully defended his economic record to voters. And former President Trump was in the Midwest, back on stage at a rally in Iowa last night. He was there supporting longtime Republican Senator Chuck Grassley, who now finds himself in a surprisingly tight race. Those visits are part of a multi-day blitz across the country by the men who are at the top of the ticket in 2020 as the party heavyweights make their final bid to voters in key battleground states. We have full team coverage ahead of Election Day for you this morning. We're going to check in with NBC News reporter Gary Grumbach in Iowa in just a minute about that Trump rally. But let's start with NBC News senior political editor Mark Murray. Mark, good morning to you. So we saw President Biden make stops in 2 different states yesterday, notably pretty reliable blue states. He was focusing on the economy. That's an issue Democrats have not polled well on among voters. So what was his message yesterday? And does this signal maybe more of a strategy shift for Democrats right now?
Joe, I don't think it's a strategy shift. And in fact, a lot of the things that President Biden was saying about the economy were things that he has said over the past several months, if not over the past year or so. But it was notable given that the economic turn came after his big speech in Washington, D.C. the day before when it comes to democracy and the threats to democracy. But in New Mexico and California, and New Mexico specifically, President Biden was making the argument that this is a choice election, not a referendum. And he was touting his economic achievements like reducing, forgiving student loan debt, as well as the Inflation Reduction Act. Take a listen.
Take a look at who's complaining. This I find fascinating. This I find fascinating. The people who are complaining, the MAGA Republicans who sit in Congress, had hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars in pandemic relief forgiven. But they're now attacking middle-class Americans and student relief programs. Who the hell do they think they are? I've been able to do all this by reducing the federal deficit, the very deficit the Republicans voted against. Every single one of them when I passed when we passed the Inflation Reduction Act. Last year alone, under our leadership, the Democrats in Congress now, without any Republican vote, reduced the deficit by $1.4 trillion. 1 year. More than any time in American history.
Joe, it is absolutely clear the president has a lot of accomplishments and good economic data to tout, but the polls continue to suggest that most Americans disapprove of his handling of the economy and give Republicans the advantage on that issue.
All right, so let's turn to Pennsylvania, where Oprah has now announced her support for John Fetterman in his Senate campaign against Dr. Oz. Remember, Oprah launched Dr. Oz, brought him to national prominence. So how significant is this, especially with the polls tightening between the two, with President Biden and former Presidents Trump and Obama all set to visit the state over the weekend?
Joe, anyone would want to have Oprah Winfrey's endorsement. I would probably, I know you would, but I'm not necessarily sure it packs the punch it did 15 years ago. Remember when Barack Obama ended up getting endorsed by Oprah Winfrey versus Hillary Clinton? That was in a Democratic primary, a completely different media landscape with her and her show kind of just dominating American culture. I'm not necessarily sure it is as impactful. She's also not a voter from Pennsylvania, but of course, John Fetterman, happy to have her endorsement, no doubt about it.
All right, and let's talk about what else you're going to be watching for in the country now in this closing weekend. Are there any races, anything that might be flying under the radar now that could suddenly have big significance come Tuesday?
Joe, I'm watching all the races, and all of them are equally significant to me. But, I'm a really big polling geek. And, what I'm going to be watching for in the final polls to actually see if Democrats have really caught up to Republicans in enthusiasm. In midterm elections, enthusiasm is usually the key. There aren't as many people who vote as you end up seeing in a presidential election. And we'll see if Democrats are as equally fired up as Republicans are. And that's what I'm going to be looking for this weekend.
Your political geekiness is welcome here, Mark. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Very much so. We can't wait to see you next week, too. All right, with just days to go until the midterms, the most senior Republican in the Senate is locked in a tight battle for re-election. As Joe just mentioned, Senator Chuck Grassley is squaring off against Democrat Mike Franken in a race that's been much closer than many expected. In an effort to help boost the 89-year-old Republican to his 8th term, Former President Donald Trump hit the campaign trail in support of him and other GOP candidates. For more, we're joined by NBC News reporter Gary Grumbach. He's in Sioux City, Iowa. Gary, good morning. Good to have you there with us. Thanks for being up early. So you were at the former president's event last night. What were your big takeaways?
Good morning, Savannah. Yeah, thousands of people withstood the colder and windier than expected temperatures to hear former President Trump espouse election lies, complain about investigations into himself, his family, his businesses, and his associates in New York City and elsewhere around the country, and also hear him support and urge support for Iowa's Republican candidates in the Senate and beyond. He did all this, and that's because of that really tight election in the U.S. Senate between Chuck Grassley and Mike Franken. This is a much closer race than expected, and Savannah, it was really striking to hear Chuck Grassley get up on stage and pretty much beg for people to vote for him in deep red Sioux City, Iowa. Really a striking scene there last night, Savannah.
Absolutely. Gary, Trump's appearance also included commentary on our current president, as well as continuing to deny 2020 election results. We're now nearly 2 years removed from that election. It was, though, this thread there. How was he, as well as that particular message, received in Sioux City, in deeply red Sioux City, as you point out?
Yeah, you have to remember who attends these types of rallies, right? It was a cold night. It was the Newsmax watching, the Right Side Broadcasting Network watching, fans that think that Donald Trump can do no wrong. They support him fully. They are out there in the cold, cheering him on, his every single word. But not everybody was convinced. Here's one person I talked to. Looking towards 24, you certainly Glenn Youngkin's in the conversation, Donald Trump's in the conversation, Mike Pence is in the conversation. Who are you sort of thinking about for 2024?
You didn't mention DeSantis.
That's right.
DeSantis.
That's who you think?
I think him and Trump's policies are very similar, but he comes with a lot less baggage, I guess is how I would put it.
Something else we heard when we were talking to voters is about the divisiveness in this country. They no longer refer to it as Republicans versus Democrats. They refer to it as good versus evil, Savannah.
Gary, also, of course, right now we're talking midterms. They're front of mind, 4 days away. But as you mentioned, the former president is already looking towards 2024. There's one thing he said that's getting some play here. Tell us about that, and let's listen to it.
Yeah, you know, he loves doing this. Donald Trump loves traveling around the country, getting people excited, and these are really just testing grounds for what could potentially be a 2024 bid. Here's what he had to say.
And now, in order to make our country successful and safe and glorious, I will very, very, very probably do it again, okay?
I think that was 3 very probablys there. And he's doing this because he loves the support. He loves the energy that the crowd brings. And he's doing this throughout the weekend here, too. He's going to Pennsylvania. He'll be in Florida campaigning for Marco Rubio, but not for Governor Ron DeSantis. And then he'll be ending his swing in Ohio with a midterm election eve rally with J.D. Vance. Savannah?
All right, Gary Grumbach out on one of those trails for us, as we said this morning. Thanks, Gary. Good to see you. And now to the controversy surrounding NBA player Kyrie Irving. On Thursday, the Brooklyn Nets point guard apologized for tweeting a link to a documentary slammed for being anti-Semitic. In a post on Instagram, Irving said he, quote, takes full responsibility for his actions. The move comes just hours after the Brooklyn Nets suspended Irving for at least 5 games without pay for these comments he made at a press conference earlier that day.
Responsibility for posting that. Some things that were questionable in there, untrue. I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
According to a team statement, Irving's refusal to, quote, unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs made him unfit to be connected with the Nets. The statement continued to say that while for now he was suspended for those 5 games, that would continue until he, quote, satisfies a series of objective remedial measures that address the harmful impact of his conduct.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.